Okay, we're back for part three. I think it is now. So Tom, you've asked a merge reg about the lock stats and what he thinks.
Yeah, he thinks that the network's so small that you have to at least have like a reasonable idea of what you're doing to be opted out, and
Yeah, it's probably a fair point.
like that it's most likely people that are aware of how much stuff you can do with scope
Yeah,
that would be doing. So it's kind of like the opposite to those on stars because there's no opt in opt out. It's just everything or choose to have it locked.
it probably becomes a lot more important too because, like, even I play on 888 as well as stars, and 888 is probably a similar sort of price player pool to merge, and even at like the sort of low to mid stakes tourneys that I play, like the $20 to $50 type stuff. There's a lot of regs there, whereas on stars, there's a few people you see semi-regularly, but I've got thousands of hands on some of the
Yeah,
the regs, so it becomes more important. Like, you become a
yeah.
reg at a lower level, like people can get a lot more hands on you at a lower buy-in level. So
And the other factor is that the number of people that are grinding 888 compared to merge as their primary source of income is a hell of a lot lower. People don't like so there'll be rigs that their full schedule will be merge and they'll be in every tournament together. So they
yeah,
have their
that's
stat disabled. So like if they have any kind of leaks that can be exploited from it, then information is pretty much power in this game. So the more information you have, the better. So
that's
you
also a
know,
very good point. I mean, on 888, the amount of really good players is probably a lot less than, like, there's still, for you to be a reg on merge, you probably had to be a decent reg on like stars or tilt before Black Friday.
and
Really,
you had to be semi full time or at least meaningful money to actually bother getting money online in the US climate.
yeah. All right, so we open Jack 10 and C bet, and then it's fine. We've decided to ISO a 30 big one stack. I mean, whatever. It's kind of neither here nor there. This is probably one reason against it: the fact that we can get flattered a lot
I'm probably
behind.
just flatting just because there's three 20 big one stacks behind, so that if I want to play the hand in position, I'd be limping it. But most likely, I'd just be folding pre due to the stacks behind.
Yeah, doesn't really get much better than that when we see
No.
why. I'm not sure why we're not betting here. Um,
Yeah,
I'm probably getting it in here. I don't see any other reason. Like, we kind of have to with such a huge pot in the middle now.
and four way, just bet. And,
Yeah,
you folds a ton of the time.
I'll be betting
Because,
like 4K here.
yeah,
Like,
because, yeah, I'd be betting, I don't like bet whole numbers, I'd probably bet like 3-6, 3-5, maybe 3-4.
yeah,
But,
that's fine.
anyway, it's eventually the same. But what my point was that maybe even less because we're four way, maybe 3-3. But what I'm saying is that three way, the like standard hand that you need to continue in relatively low SBR pots just skyrockets. So we have fold equity versus jacks here. Like
Yeah,
Jack
shit,
King
yeah. Well,
is
even if
hard to call.
if we bomb it and Eater X has like even like a bad queen or something like Queen 9, they might even just give up if we.
Queen 10 hates life here.
Yeah,
King, Queen, and 8 probably don't fold, but they're not like happy about it.
no. And see, now we have a lot less fold equity against those queens and jacks by betting turn now instead of flop, I think.
Cut it in half by trying to draw for free.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have, now we're giving up.
Oh, ace high. Wow.
Like, I don't see this.
See, I'll probably bet flop and turn on any, like, after isolating, we just have to rep a big hand here, and I think I bet 40% pot on both flop and turn.
Like, this is really the dream situation when we ISO
Yeah.
because we reasonably rep like Jack plus here.
It's the best. You can't get much better in terms of equity. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it's like
There's
the same board but lower.
yeah, there's
Like
literally
a seven
three
five or
compositions
whatever.
that kill us here there's ace king of clubs, ace queen of clubs, and ace ten of clubs. That's 3 combos of hands that we hate life against. Everything else we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, even with sets and stuff, we're fine. I mean, it's such a relatively small part of their range.
Yeah. Fold. Alright, yeah. Flatting's fine.
It's check folding.
Checks around.
I wouldn't be betting.
I really don't think lower pairs fold here that often.
Yeah, and I also don't think king queen folds. And
No.
I think it's optimistic to think that what the fuck Larry doesn't have any aces in his range.
Well, I think he was the other reg. He was one of the other regs that we had. Yeah, so him and All In, this guy up here, they're the other 2 regs that Carlo's identified. So, given that one of them's in position against us, I don't really know what we're repping here. Besides, like, I guess we're repping an ace, but that's like
Yeah, the one advantage is that our range is uncapped, but like there are still aces in people's range. Yeah.
yeah, it gets through.
Which is alright, it just sucks because you're going to have to fire multiple barrels to get people off anything.
Yeah, I think that was relatively lucky that we got folds, given that it was multi-way there. Looks like we fold a bunch more hands here.
Turn barrel, a river barrel. If we fire a turn barrel there, for it to be profitable, we can't just fire one, give up.
Yeah, I agree.
Something we've done a few times, which I don't like very much. Opening's fine.
Open's fine. Fold a few more hands here.
Yeah, easy fold.
Not really deep enough to be flatting.
We don't really have any fold equity against AA Lin either, and unless we have reads that he's like raised folding a 16 big blind stack, like he just has value hands here.
Yeah,
Not folding.
might be worth just seeing what he has here.
Value hand.
So yeah, he c-bet flop, which is fine, and then he checked turn to go for deception. I guess that's pretty good as well, just given that any lower pairs are probably folding if you just barrel off. And I mean, Jack's probably, I mean, they either call turn and fold river or check back turn and call river. So you're probably only getting one extra street. So I think checking's fine.
He'll also have some like random crap in his range there that's not going to be as strong as that. Like king queen and stuff that might fire river.
Well, and you allow him to have a bluff catch range by checking turn and betting river as well.
But yeah, I've been noticing him that he raised calls top of his range for value rather than open shipping at 16 big blind deep.
Yeah.
Really useful note to have.
Yuck.
I'm just folding inside them.
Yeah, I think that's
and we have no backdoor equity either, like...
No.
Well, I'm never folding here, I'm just calling his ridiculous bet. I didn't
even realise that. I didn't even realise that was a 3-bet. I thought it was just a flat. Yeah.
There's the argument that this is actually a good thing to do versus regs because they kind of turn their range face up by 4-betting all their monsters and just flatting everything else. So like we have a cap range post flop.
Yeah.
So I think we should be counteracting that is when someone min 3-bets us and we know they're a rig, we should just flat full range.
Okay, so now we check fold on this board. I think we definitely have to peel one.
Did we check fold?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Maybe this is a misclick. I don't know. But if we're check calling here, we don't really have much of a better board. I mean, he does have overpairs in his range, obviously, but I don't think it's only overpairs. And I think it's still flat and it's still cheap enough that we can
pretty clear
peel one
float with our effective stack.
Yeah.
And just let them pile on turns. And if he has overpairs, fine. But a lot of the time he'll be drawing a 3 outs when he triple barrels.
Yeah, I agree. We get a walk. We pile 22.
Too many for me.
I have done this before. I don't hate it, just for the fact that if we're going to get shoved on by all in here and Eater X, it's
But Orland's not going to shove on us.
you don't reckon?
He's going to rebet. Yeah, definitely, because if he's if he's the type of player that raise calls a 16 big blind stack, he's not the type of player that's going to dry heave 22 big blinds effective on us. So he'll have a 3-bet fold range. So I'd much rather than open jam, I'd much rather just raise call what the fuck Larry, possibly raise fold to Either X, and just raise 4-bet jam on AAA Lin.
See, I don't think he has a 3-bet fold range that often here with 22.
Yeah,
bigs.
but it's effectively the same thing. Even if he gets in slightly wider, it means, like, we could even raise fold to him if you want, if you don't think he's going to be messing with us.
Yeah.
But opening 22 bigs, like, yeah, like, we're four-handed, so he's going to be snapping us wide, but this range is literally, like, 6-6 and below, and, yeah, it's pretty much only small pairs. I know, on the other hand, you're open jamming here.
If we had 18 bigs here, I would be fine with it. So I don't really know what. There's not that much difference between 22 and 18, except for the fact that if we think he has a 3-bet range.
The difference between 18 and 22 is that at 22 we actually have a viable raise fold stack, whereas at 18 big blind, it's getting to the point where we're losing tournament equity by raise folding. Whereas here, we could realistically be stealing as well, so our range is much more balanced and, okay. Whereas if we're shoving 16 bigs and our range is uncapped, we shove 23 or 22 and a half, our range is capped. We're never shoving aces here. We could be shoving aces with 16 or 18 bigs.
Yeah.
So they're calling ranges.
I mean, that's fair enough, but I mean, even if our range is capped, it still doesn't mean that they're going to be calling light, because it's only capped to, like, I mean, if I'm going to be heaving fives here, I'm going to also be shoving jacks, so, and ace king and ace queen.
See, I wouldn't be near them here. I'd be shoving, like, because jacks you want to be 3-bet, and ace king you want to be 3-bet.
I mean, I'm not saying I 100% agree with what I'm saying. I'm saying I have done it before, and I find that it does work a fair amount of the time. I mean, whether it's good or bad, I'm kind of on the fence. But it's kind of like the absolute maximum that I would ever open shove here.
It's also kind of really volatile, because if we don't really have reads on these people. We know A.A. Lin is the only read of these three, isn't he? Oh, and what the fuck, Larry?
Yeah, and this guy here's got his stats blocked as well, so we can almost assume that they're all semi-reg-ish.
Yeah, I'd still almost rather raise evaluate, because there's
the reason I think this can be an okay play sometimes is just the fact that if they're going to be shoving on us light, then we hate to be calling off here. So it takes that play out of their arsenal.
Just rather either raise fold or ship over a 3-bet or whatever.
Because, like, what do you do if you're Eater X here and you have nines? I mean, it kind of sucks.
Well, I'm snapping off because it's small pairs more than it's anything else.
Well, assuming that's your range for that, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying if I would be shoving anything but kings and aces if I was to shove here.
Yeah, but I don't think that's good, because we're value cutting ourselves as a general strategy. Because we lose the times where we have aces, queens or jacks or tens or whatever, and we open, and he defends with 7-8 suited, or he jams 7-8 suited. Like, yeah, it sucks this time, but I'd just rather raise fold, because it's not like we're getting piled on a ton and we have the odds to call what the fuck Larry off, and he's not going to jam super wide because he doesn't really have perceived fold equity.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm just saying I don't think it's necessarily, like, terrible to be doing it.
Oh, no, I just disagree with it. Yeah. It's not like the same as set mining 10 big blinds deep or anything. It's a completely viable strategy. I just think it kind of handcuffs our maneuver.
Yeah, I just think it's an interesting play if you think that they're going to be relatively tight but might reshove on you, like, a lot. I mean, it is an exploitable strategy because you're not balancing, but...
And also change other stuff, like we can start limping ovens. because then we can limp shove quite well with 22 bigs because they don't really have the odds to call off if they raise. And if they're shipping, they have to be shipping narrow enough that we get to play post flop enough that it's okay. Fives obviously isn't the ideal hand, but we can start limping if they're shoving too much at 22 bigs.
Yeah. Okay, so this hand here we open and get flattered, which I think is... I'm probably folding, to be honest, pre.
Yeah, well, the stack's behind. I mean, and if we're worried enough about them that we're open heaving fives, then this isn't going to be a profitable open.
No, I agree. And this is sort of 20 to 20, or maybe 18 to 27 bigs-ish is kind of the range where I tighten up my open range quite a lot.
More than me here. So yeah, the main reason, if I think it's a profitable steal and we're not going to get a heap of resistance, I don't mind raise folding air and steal spots like this. But unless we have history with Brad, we have no idea what he's like. He's got a bigger stack than us. And it's, I assume, the final table bubble, judging by how deep into the hand history we are.
Still 70 hands left, so it's probably getting, this is probably 3 tables left, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just let this spot go, especially since we're playing 3 rigs, it's just not a spot we need to be taking. And it's not going to be, if it's profitable, it's not going to be hugely profitable for the, volatile situations it puts us in.
Yeah, the reason I don't like opening these sort of stack sizes is just, you lose quite a lot when you have to c-bet. So,
I agree.
We're putting in 4.5k here, which is that's 25% of our stack we have to do just to raise and c-bet. And...
yeah.
now we get min raised and we flat. If I'm going to do anything here, I'm going to be shipping. But I like folding. I don't think calling is an option here. Really,
we can make it look ridiculous and make it literally click it back.
Yeah.
All off just because it probably freaks him out more than and I don't really think he's ever going to flat us with 2/3 of a pot size bet left.
Yeah, I agree. That's not a bad option. I'm probably just folding, but you're right.
No.
Making it 10k here looks pretty strong.
Even less, when we click it back, people lose the plot. If we make it we can make it 8.5 here or 9, and he'll just be whoa, just raise fold like a diamond draw.
Yeah.
He thinks we have it.
Yeah. But this is kind of the reason why I still fold pre.
Yeah, definitely. I don't love flow them because we're drawing the 3 outs essentially.
Yeah. Yep. Because our
diamonds counterfeited.
If that's the 6 of diamonds, that's still super scary for he's going to shut down with a lot of things that aren't diamonds as well. So it's going to be hard for us to get value even if we do hit.
See, and now with if you're going to open wide, you have to just be willing to give up post flop and non-profitable c-bet spots. That's not a great board to c-bet versus a big blind flatting range.
Yeah, and it's also we do have some sort of...
You should just be, checking back, drawing and folding to a bet on the diamond, or calling and jamming on some river bets if you think he's floaty, but...
Yeah. What am I doing?
Because now we've cut ourselves down to a really awkward stack. We, marginally have fold equity, 3-bet shove.
Yeah, see, that's the precise reason why I tighten up with a 25 big stack.
The numbers are up and we've got no fold equity on 3-bet shove, so we're open shipping.
Yeah.
And we've just kind of cut our edge in half because, the edge from push fold is so small compared to the edge we can take from 3-bet spots and from just post flop play.
I like this.
We're 15, 14 effective?
Yeah. It's the absolute minimum stack size you could do it with, I think. Which, once again, is a further reason why we shouldn't have opened that 9-7 before.
I probably fold it, to be honest. I just don't think we get through very often.
How much is he opening here?
8.
He's opening just over min, so I wonder how good Brad is. Let's scope him.
I just don't think we have very much fold equity.
Okay.
All aces are calling here.
Brad is an average stake of 20, and he's 10k up.
Yeah, see, he's raised calling ace-x here. He's raised calling...
Yeah.
He's
raised calling king, queen, and...
whole range that he would want to unexploitably jam on us, he'll raise call, just because he can't jam because of Mogox. but
Yeah.
we have virtually no fold equity.
Yeah.
And we have no blocker value, and our hand is often dominated when called.
Yeah.
It's like Jack Queen here, raise calls.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine.
Like, and if we're not folding out hands that are slightly better than our own, and that's like in the bottom 50% of hands, we never get through. Yeah, see?
Oh, blink. There it
We
is.
run, yeah. But yeah, see, like, we have no fold equity.
Yeah.
Especially because the blinds went up, so we went back down to 14 bigs. If we had more, we might have fold equity. Or if he limp button, we might have fold equity.
Yeah. So this is another spot where I probably just fold. I mean, we got 29 bigs now. But we've got 2 regs on our left who are probably like he's going to 3-bet. He's going to jam a lot. He's going to 3-bet a lot.
What the fuck, Larry won't be jamming a ton just because he has no fold equity, because we'll always have the odds to call him off. But we don't want to do that, so I just fold pre.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You're right.
Then either X isn't going to shove wide, but when they do shove, we have to get it in, and we're often crushed.
Especially after winning a big pot from the guy in the big blind as well. He's going to defend a lot as well. So even like game flow probably means we can.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
See that it's fine. Nice
Great
turn
turn.
card. Can make your barrel smaller, like 5k will do the same job.
I don't mind that because he's setting up a pot size river shove.
Good point. So if yuck. That's so gross. That's so gross.
It's like a queen.
Yeah.
Almost all of the time. That's never air. We just have to drop it.
Just side fold. It's so gross. I mean, if you're setting up for a river jam here, I think that was good turn sizing and I like it. But
if not to jam rivers, then bet small.
Yeah.
One other thing is that shall I just go back?
Yeah.
One cool thing we could do is bet quite small on the turn. Like, because we bet normal size flop, and then we can bet, like, when we turn the equity, we can bet really small, and because we can bet fold. Because if we bet like 3k here, he's only coming over the top. He's not going to come over the top of us with air very often. He's going to float all his air, and he's going to float like his marginal clubs and stuff. But he's going to want to protect with like Queen X, which we don't really have the odds to see a river with, so we can just bet like 3k and fold to his shove, and then like when we hit the we're essentially drawing cheap.
So what about checking back then? If we're talking about drawing cheap, can we just check back turn?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. Sorry. Yeah,
I actually don't mind that. I mean,
like his, Queen X is his calling range really, and like 9s, 10s, and stuff with a club now call.
Yeah.
So we fold out like 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, and maybe like Ace 5 with no clubs.
Yeah.
That's like it. That's all we fold, and if any of them have clubs, they call. So
we're not really folding that much by barreling off here, are we? So I think checking back might be okay here too. And that's just disgusting on the river. Yeah, there's just such 2.5x. He's obviously bad, that guy.
It's not really a necessary open. We're going to have to call off Larry and the big blinds.
Yeah, I'm folding here. I'm trying to save as many chips as possible here without opening.
So we can just 3-bet shove effectively because we lose another pot.
Oh wow, he's just flattered. So this guy is interesting because he does have his stats blocked, but it's pretty obvious that he's bad given that he's flatting here. Unless he's flatting with wow. So weird.
With the nuts.
Yeah. Unless that's like aces, but then why would you donk with aces? Yeah.
And deuce a jam over the top. Most rigs just come over the top of you.
Yeah, I guess so.
And because we lost that pot, we can't raise call.
Yeah.
So we lose the opportunity for them to jam on us or flat with inferior hands or whatever.
Yeah.
Happy you're folding that. Be folding this, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't mind it short-handed.
yeah, it's a bit loose, but it's fine.
We're probably getting close to the bubble now. So,
Yeah, if it's on the bubble, I like it more.
yeah. Like, I think we finished 12th or something, and it's 10 paid, and we got, what, 40 hands left. So, yeah, it's probably like 15 left, or 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 6 on our table now, so there's probably like 13 left right now. Oh, pretty standard. Oh, that's a bit gross.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so we make a sick comeback here, obviously. Oh, that's... Okay, so let's just... So he's
never folded.
He's making it 2.5x, which is really weird with his stack, but like, yeah, he's never folding, so just get it in, that's fine. And just run better next time.
Yeah, we'll just river your queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, fold's good.
Yeah, you can wait till you get like queen high in the next hand. Or I think
this goes.
I think it should go in. Yep, that's fine. We get 2 flatters.
Oh, beautiful river.
Wow.
This
guy's quite obviously horrible.
I see him just donning us, man.
Yeah. Alright.
This goes in.
Yep, that's fine.
Hold? Yeah.
Back
Nice.
in the game.
Folding this. Pretty easy fold.
Yeah, we can't really call there. Let's fold. I kind of like jamming here. I mean, we can cripple both of those stacks, and we're going to pick up like
a decent proportion of our stack, and we've still got like
25% of our stack we're picking up here when we jam. So I like jamming any 2 here pretty much.
Yeah. Especially bubble.
Yeah,
like, and they're not going to punt off half their stack.
No.
With like, jack high.
And it's going to be harder and harder for us to find a spot.
Yeah.
Because this Mogo seems to be pretty active now. So given that was a spot we could have taken, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I like that spot a lot better than this.
Yeah.
Because he's raising into 2 stacks he has to call off and 1 resub stack. So, like, we got through that time, but I don't think he gets through much.
Yeah.
Did we get through it? We just run good?
We haven't run it out yet. He calls with deuces. Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick for him to be raise calling like a third of his stack with deuces here.
Yeah, we can't really fold to us.
No, but I'm probably folding pre if I'm him with deuces.
Yeah. It seems like no one's playing back, though, so he's just running over the table.
Yeah.
And that's an easy fold.
Yeah, now that we've got, like, what...
Wait, go back? Hand before? Given how wide he's raising, it's not a bad 3-bet shove spot, because we now have fold equity.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. You're right. He's been pounding quite a lot. Like, you can... and given that we now will stack him pretty much, if we do shove, we have a lot more fold equity.
We're giving him incorrect odds to call off, so we have fold equity.
Yeah, I agree.
Folding. How deep? No, we're getting really shallow now.
Like, we're getting...
It's gross.
Alright, so we're getting 45% direct odds here. So, let's pull up our stove again.
So you can take aces and kings out. Probably queens out.
What do we have? King of diamonds. Queen of hearts.
But But due to the ICM and the fact that we have a playable stack, we need a lot more than break even in the spot.
I agree. So let's just clear that, and we put any pair, and we'll put broadways in.
I think we need to cap it as well.
Yeah, how many? What's he got here? 16 bigs.
He's got 27, doesn't he?
With 15.
That makes
Yeah. So 18 bigs. Sorry, you're right. So yeah, you probably can cap it. So we'll
you can probably take out queens as well and ace king.
Yeah.
I think you can, we should probably, it's probably a hassle now, but in general, I'd probably leave half of ace queen and half of jacks. Just because they're much more vulnerable hands.
Yeah, well, we can do that. And we'll leave ace queen suited in, but take ace queen off out, so it leaves at least some in there. We'll leave.
And you can probably remove jack 10 off and queen 10 off, some of the hands that we dominate that I don't really see shoving here. King 9 suited is not really going to shove here. It's usually broadways that we may or may not be ahead, but it's usually moderate strength aces and pairs.
Yeah.
So we should really be flipping versus the range.
Yeah, alright, so let's just put that in. And I think this becomes a fold. See, we're flipping against his range, but given that we're near the bubble, it probably means we should be a fair bit better than that.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
And it's also, yeah, I definitely agree. And in terms of effective stack sizes, holding our stack here is important. Busting is just a nightmare when we actually have moderate maneuverability and position.
It seems like there is a few relatively short stacks, so we're probably not that bad in terms of average. We're not probably.
Yeah, so it's a stack that you want to really protect.
Yeah.
On the bubble.
If this was some really deep, 11 rebuy or something, and we had
50, 60 big blind stacks everywhere, and we're down to 15, whatever, then yeah.
Yeah, I probably much more like taking that spot. I think this is pretty cliche if it gets to us.
Equity is really good. Yeah, it's just standard bubble play. You want to jam wider, cool tighter.
Yeah.
Because you have more fold equity.
I'm on the fence.
I probably raise fold to everyone except...
Oh, no, I'm chipping if I do anything here. I'm not
raising. Oh, wait, how big? No, you're right. Sorry, I thought that was a 9 rather than a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm probably shipping. But I don't know if I'm shipping too wide in those spots or what. Especially bubble, I think we can just build a stack, because there's no point hanging on for a min cash.
Yeah.
We want to chip up.
That's completely fine. Fold.
Yeah, blinds have gone up now. We're really, really shallow.
10 bigs now, yeah.
See, if we know the blinds are going up, that makes that way more of a ship for me. Yeah, I'm shoving.
I'm probably shipping close to any two on the bubble here. Given that they're both got stacks that don't it's not like one of these 70k stacks as in the big blind and can call us off with ace 8 or something. They're probably trying to fold most of those hands.
Yeah, I'd be shoving there. And I'd be if you're taking that kind of spot, we really should be taking the ace 2 spot to try and maintain a stack above 16, 17 bigs rather than folding down to 10 and widening our range every time.
Yeah. So this spot here is a lot worse than this spot.
Shit, yeah.
Just for the fact that there's 2 extra people. There's now 4 people that we have to get through rather than only 2. And I think that it might even be exponential the amount of times we get called more by the increase of people. So it just becomes a lot tougher here to get through. Having said that, I'm probably shoving both of those hands still. I mean, I'm probably still shoving here, but I'm just saying if you're taking this spot, you should be definitely taking this spot. I mean, I think they're all shoves.
One of them's a high five, one of them's a shrug jam.
Yeah. And this is still a shove as well. I mean, I think I shove all 3, but yeah, you definitely need to be shoving that 7-8 off there, I think. Sorry, I'll go back to this one.
That's the same no one calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fold. Oh,
Uh,
it's pretty close. This is probably similar to that king queen spot where
yeah, but now our stack just has very little kind of lifeblood in it.
yeah.
We've got like 12 and a half bigs. And if we
Mogo
fold, if we here, what's our calling range?
yeah, Mogo has been we definitely know he's shoving really wide as well
Yeah.
because of the
I
fact
just take the flip here because, with 10 big blinds, we've now just blinded ourselves down pretty much to a stack that becomes really difficult to play.
yeah, and
Like,
we're
within
getting
each.
45% direct odds here. And I think it's pretty close. It's pretty easy to find a range that we are at least 45% against.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
probably ahead of most ranges, really. Because
Yeah.
ACX just plays so much better. This isn't a spot where, the king-queen hand, he was open shoving like a lot of chips from a different position, and we kind of need
It
to
was
find a
early
reason to
position as
call.
well. Well, he was under the gun, I think, or maybe under the gun
Yeah,
one. There might have been a
exactly.
player over here.
Yeah, under the gun one, but like in this one, like it's bussin'. He could literally be shoving any two.
Yeah.
He'd probably be shoving any two if we're folding S3.
Yeah, I mean, we would be shoving any two. So, and we've seen that he's pretty aggressive. So he's probably somewhat decent. He's probably not a complete spaz. I'm just scoping him as well. He doesn't look great. Like he's. Oops. You can see here he was kind of down, and then he's kind of in the last few hundred games. It kind of looks like it's going up a bit. It's probably average. Like I think it's not like straight down, which probably means like if he was really bad, it would lean me more towards a fold because it probably means he's stronger here. But I think he can definitely have a range.
Well, I think there's also a lot of losing players that just jam way too wide and punt stacks.
Yeah, well, that's true as well.
Yeah, so I think that's a really reasonably easy call. This is a jam.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. And
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, this is a jam.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm definitely jamming again. There's no reason not to. There really isn't. We still don't have 20 bigs yet.
And, 2/5 of the table also has stacks that can't flat us pre. So, like...
Yeah, well, even this guy can't flat. He's only got 18.
No, actually, yeah, definitely. Virtually no one can flat us.
He's got 25. He's not wanting to flat. So it's... Yeah, no one can really. Like 25 is the biggest stack here. And with our stack, we're hurting these guys as well. If they call and lose. So they're going to tighten up their calling range quite a lot.
The other thing about raise calling here is that even if they shove slightly wider, it's horrible for us because our profitability here comes from uncontested pots.
Yeah.
We don't want to flip in. So if they shove like 8-9, that's actually bad for us.
Yeah.
We'd just rather have the fold.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking we're getting flatting here and we're in trouble. Yeah.
He must have the absolute nuts. Flatting pre.
Yeah, we can't really fold here. Oh, yuck. Oh, yuck. Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Alright, so that's a pretty brutal way to go. But do we reckon he's calling off with King Jack here? I'm not sure he is. Like, if we jam pre. So that's where the profitability of jamming here comes, because we're getting hands like that to fold. Yeah, I'm definitely jamming there pre instead. But that's a pretty brutal way to end the tourney.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Alright, so that's it. What do you think about his play in general?
Oh yeah, played decent, man. Things to look at. I'd be tightening some of your opening ranges when you've got tougher players behind you. I'd also be kind of... You don't really have a donk leading range on any board issues, which is something I'd probably incorporate.
Especially when you flat, like when their ranges are all relatively weak, so they're not going to when it's raise, call, and you flop, and you call out of the big blind and flop huge. They're good spots to lead
Yeah.
out because people don't bet like top pair no kicker into 4 people. They just check it back and then call, or they call if you bet. So it's a good spot to get value.
And when we set mine from the blinds, I think it's really good to lead like some of the time, just because strong ranges aren't just going to flat you if you. So you're effectively just making their bets bigger.
Yeah.
So you lead, they raise more than they would have c-bet with all of their range. You can either 3-bet get it in, or you can call, and if they're barrel, you can call and just let them barrel off turn, and all of their bets just grew, and your range looks more full of shit than it did in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
Other things, I think
It's hard to balance the donk range there though, because
yeah, but you can donk here. I donk here a lot, like multi-way and heads up, just when someone flats me on the button, and I think range misses their board, but I don't have the equity to check call, and I don't rep anything by check raising. I just lead.
Yeah.
Like a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
It's not that hard to balance, really.
Yeah.
And like all you have to do is bet fold once, and suddenly they just raise you every time. So then you just adjust. It's really easy.
Yeah.
Because it's like a very significant event to them, so they tend to just respond in one way all the time. So if they just station off, then it takes you one hand to realize that they just call and will bet turn when check to, and will call 3 streets or whatever.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Probably the one thing I would say is when you have like a 3-bet shove stack, I think it's really important to keep that stack by tightening your opening range.
Yeah,
we did talk about that quite a lot before, so I won't go over it again. But I think, from my opinion, like this tournament seemed to have a relatively quick structure, even though we started off with 5k, so everyone was relatively short. So that places an even bigger emphasis on trying to maintain a stack once we've got it. And so I would be only 3-bet, like I would only be opening for basically hands, maybe the button and cut off we can open a little bit wider, but like if we're opening mid position and early position, I'm probably opening only hands that I like to get it in with, and when I have like 25 bigs, I'm never opening light, just because it becomes so hard to, when you get flattered, to c-bet, and you just lose so much of your stack and so much of your equity in the tournament, because then you can't 3-bet and get them to fold anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I also think the other thing you have to look at in terms of post-flop is largely how you're playing turns, in terms of there are a few times you're not really thinking about their range, like with the ace-5 where you check back as if you have showdown value. You don't really have showdown value any more than you did with ace-high.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then there was also the ace of clubs turn where you barreled turn. But when we thought about it, their calling range is like queen x. So you're not folding queen x. All that happens is a lot of the time queen x jams on you, and you get in with like 25% equity.
Yeah.
Whereas you can just check back, taking a free card, and
you get
bluff court.
You get the free. Yeah. Yep.
The other thing is, I think you need to start changing your bet sizing to be a bit more exploitative. So you bet smaller multi-way, because their calling range becomes tighter multi-way, so you can get more folds, like for a smaller price. You set yourself a better price. I think you also need to start making not necessarily always, and not versus good players, but I think that sizing your bluffs and your value range post-flop the same size isn't really necessary, because you can change your sizing you change your sizing already according to board texture. So you want to try and manipulate your opponent into like calling with a weaker range when you have value, and if you want to fold out a range, you want to make a bet sizing that achieves that goal.
Yeah, I think in general it just seemed like you were mashing the half pot button for everything, whereas I think you can probably put a little bit more thought into it, and just get a bit more creative. And like c-bets, I think, can be slightly smaller than, they can
definitely
be more like 40% rather than 50%, and that'll save you a fair few chips.
They really should be varying determining on the flop and their calling range.
Yeah.
So bigger where they've got a higher value range and they are going to follow them, we're betting for value. And smaller when their range is weak and we have a value hand and we want them to, there's not really any draws out there, and we want them to float with ace high because they have 20% equity or whatever. And, bigger when we want more folds, and they, we want to price out the draws, and smaller when there are no draws and they're going to fold anyway, and it's an elastic because it's just cheaper. If they're only calling with ace high, then we may top pair when there's an ace on the board, we may as well just bet small, because aces aren't folding no matter what size we bet.
Yeah.
And nothing else is calling no matter what size we bet.
So
under those assumptions, we may as well bet small with our bluffs and bigger with our value hands because
I think
more value.
I don't agree with betting smaller with bluffs and smaller when bigger with value hands. I think you should just change. I think you should bet the same with your whole range, but your sizing should change on flop texture. So if it's an ace-high dry board, I think we should bet the same amount with our bluffs and with our value hands. I just think that we can bet smaller if it's a dry.
See, I don't necessarily agree because it depends on their range. If there's a board where they're continuing with an inelastic range, we can bet exploitatively.
Yeah. So I'm talking about. Yeah, but I'm
in general, you don't want to size it really obviously. But there were spots when like I would have been changing my sizing according to what range I was betting.
Yeah, but that was size. You were changing your sizing because of the flop texture, not because of the range that we had in general.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think it's pretty solid, man. I don't think you'll have any troubles beating these sort of tourneys. I think you just need to. I think the mid stack play is where you need to just work a little bit on. But other than that, I think it's pretty good.
And I think you need to look at your 3-betting range when you don't expect them to fold. You don't want to be 3-betting ace, like you want to 3-bet ace-high blockers when they are 4-betting or folding.
Yeah.
And you want to
which is probably never, like, it's probably very rarely in these tournaments on merge. Like, it probably happens heap more on stars than it does. I mean, I'm going from my experience on 8 at 8, like, until close to the bubble, I virtually don't have, like, a light 3-bet range because it's just not required.
Yeah, but these tournaments are a lot more rig-fested than...
They probably are, but I don't know. It didn't...
The light 3-bets seem somewhat unnecessary in the spots you took, because their range wasn't super wide. They weren't giving us problems.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, well, I think that's given us 3 decent parts, so... cheers for sending in the hand history, Carlo. I hope you got a bit out of it. And as always, if anyone who watches this, feel free to leave some comments. And yeah,
I'll try to respond to them all.
Yeah,
because I'm bored.
That's what happens in uni holidays, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's
all right, guys. We're gonna get going now. So, yep, this is Benny and Doug's, and cheers, guys.